So they are calling the microbiologist to see how best to obtain a culture of that. Of course, I have Halloween plans tonight. We're all going over to a friend's house to hand out candy to the children. And I'm in a reaction. Well, I wouldn't say I'm not in a full-blown reaction. I'm just more reactive. And I have a slight fever. And I need this situation to improve because my costume ain't gonna work with a big red blotch all over my face. It is 4 o'clock now. I'm supposed to be at the place at 7, and we'll see what happens. There will be 3 mast cell patients there, so let's see who falls apart first.
Hello vlog.
What are you?
I am Khal Drogo. Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones.
That was probably the least.
Yeah, that's what you
I
said.
can't see anything, so I'm guessing where the camera's at.
I can't see that now either.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Can you see?
Just a little turn.
She hates being on the vlog.
Hi, vlog.
Okay, now you can bring.
I love it. I'm obsessed with your wig. I should go get
Danae finally made it alive and in one piece.
one piece.
We are back from Halloween, and I have a migraine because my neck cannot handle the weight of my wig. But it was fun, and we gave out all our candy. We can say goodbye to Boo.
Aw, I like Boo.
Until next year, Boo. I'm at my GI appointment, and it's at my bad time of day. Kind of like yesterday. Yesterday in the vlog, I was kind of like this too, because I was saying what I was about to do for Halloween. It just keeps getting worse, and I took my mask off to make sure that wasn't contributing to, because it's pretty safe in here.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is that color of that wall looks like baby poop. These 2 walls are fine, but the one that's by you is awful.
I don't think there's really a purpose for the appointment today.
Yes, there is.
Well, there is, but it's just a routine checkup. But we do have some things to discuss
I've got papers.
after the physician's elemental formula fail, where it was making my sugars extremely low in the 30s because I was reacting to the formula. But anyways, we went to the endocrinologist because we already had a scheduled appointment with him anyways, and basically I got dumped. Well, I'm not sure. He didn't really dump me. He just basically said that he didn't want to deal with my complicated issues, and all he wanted to handle was the steroid aspect. So after that, I emailed Dr. Afrin about my blood sugar problems, and he said some tests that we can look into to see if there's a deeper issue, and the endocrinologist refused to do that part. So the GI has her portion, and I'm going to discuss it to see if she will be willing to do his portion and her portion, or refer me to someone else. And then there is another issue that needs to be addressed. I need to go see a neurogeneticist because back in 2013 I underwent a mitochondrial disease workup because everyone had thought I had that back when I was like 15, 16. Anyways, to make a long story short, I underwent that workup in Atlanta. They did a muscle biopsy, a skin biopsy, and a spinal tap. They found one mutation in the gene that causes complex 3, but they didn't think it was disease causing. But they also found something from the spinal fluid called Cerebral Folate Deficiency, which means folate, when you eat it or receive it from feeds, it doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier properly. And it tends to it's very common in people with mitochondrial disease, but of course they didn't think I had mitochondrial disease because they didn't think my mutation was disease causing. And the symptoms of it are like tons of seizures, and usually people with CFD are autistic, and a bunch of learning disabilities and weird muscular stuff that I do not have. They didn't believe that the test was even accurate because I don't present as a patient normally would, so they ran it multiple times and my levels were still extremely low. So back in Florida, they started me on the medication for it called leucovorin. I was on that for quite a while before I started reacting to it, and I didn't notice much of a difference. Maybe a little bit, but nothing huge. So I've kind of just, since I started reacting to the medication, I've kind of just been ignoring that problem, but it's really not something to ignore. I think it definitely means something. And I'm hoping it's connected to some kind of underlying condition that if I treat that, then potentially everything else might improve. But since I've moved, and I was reacting to the medication, I kind of just forgot about it until now. So we're going to see if the GI doctor knows of any potential doctor that would be willing to entertain the treatment of that, since it is kind of weird and peculiar. With my CFD, I even had the autoantibodies. I look really terrible. And it just keeps getting worse. I asked to go way back out in the car because I was feeling like faint.
And you didn't tell me that.
Mm-mm.
One of these days, you're going to live to regret that.
But
Do you still faint now?
I just feel flushed and kind of itchy, and
Shine, why can't you tell me that? You tell
my
me
hands
to go
are
ahead.
swollen. We got face update. I forgot to ask about the CFD thing because the doctor kind of ran out before we had a chance to bring that part up. But we got labs to rule out liver disease, which we think is fine since that could potentially cause some sugar issues. And I have some weird, I don't know what you would call it, stuff coming out of my J-tube. So they are calling the microbiologist to see how best to obtain a culture of that, to see what it is. My mom bets it's yeast.
And they're doing insulin, neuroendocrine.
Oh, and the
tumor.
GI's playing endocrinologist for now and running the labs for the neuroendocrine tumor. And if they come back positive, then she will have to refer me out because she doesn't know much about it. But if they're normal, then we can just carry on. Is there anything else I need to say? Hopefully you'll get out of here soon. And I'm going to end this vlog here. Thanks for watching. Do you want to say bye?
Mm-mm.
She says bye.